trying to explain to my roommate the chimera ants of Hunter x Hunter was the hardest. He watched like half an ep with me and was like, Martin, what the F? There's like octopus ants, there's like rat ants, turtle ants, and they're all just coming together to like fight these human hunters. And like he was just like, Martin, what the fuck?
Welcome to the fourth episode of Shouganai Live. Today we have an important event, a very exciting event. We have a guest on our podcast. He was willing to come out. His name is Martin. And if you would like to introduce yourself really quick.
Martin, I'm 23 years old. Just started getting into anime about 6-7 months ago, and these guys asked me to come on and share my experiences as a new anime watcher. So
oh yeah,
happy to share.
Hey,
Let's go.
Long story short, we're all co-workers, so it's fine. We're not breaking quarantine rules. Actually, yeah, we kind of are, but fuck it, no one cares.
No,
wrong.
We're actually not breaking the rule.
No, we're not breaking the rule. But don't say fuck it. Like, please to God.
Well, long story short, this is the quarantine edition of the Shouganai Life podcast. Yeah. You know, I wish we had brought masks because that would have been more fun. But long story short, we have Martin on here today because, like he said, he just recently got into anime. So I gotta ask, like, how'd you get into anime? Like, and what took you so long? First of all.
I mean, I've had friends, like a bunch of my high school friends have watched it for years, and like I knew people in college that watched it, and like obviously you guys watch it, and we have other coworkers that were watching it, but I don't know, like I just always like there's that stigma behind like something in a different language and like something that like it has weirder themes. You know, I hear about the weird stereotypes of, you know, hentai weird things and like tentacles. It's like weird, tentacles and like all this stuff, and you're like, why would anyone want to watch that? Like that's insane. Yeah. And like I don't know, I think like I really got into it because this is a really weird story. When I went to visit Philly with like 6 of my high school friends, we went to the ramen shop near my friend's house. And we walked in and the place is covered in One Piece memorabilia. And 2 of my friends are huge One Piece heads. One of them is like all the way caught up on like 800 whatever episodes of it. He's watched all of them. He got his Crunchyroll subscription just so he can watch the new episodes when they come out. Like insane. So they were like going off about it, talking about it. I was like, I've never watched any of this. Like, what in the world are you guys talking about? Like, Mark, you haven't watched any anime ever? And I'm like, no, why would I do that? They're like, oh, just you have to like try it. Like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, like I'll try. Like, tell me like one to watch or something that like, and I'll give it a shot. Like, and like they were like, okay, and they just started listing a bunch of them, and then like I think the group like started having a debate within themselves of what my first one should be. And there was like debate between like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, you know, like all over the board of like long, short. Do we, you know, do we start with a small one or do we send them into like a 500 episode epic? And it's like, yeah. And they came to the conclusion on Full Metal Brotherhood, and that's like. They said, go home, watch that. It's all on Netflix. Like, it's easy to watch. It's, you know, 20-minute episodes and like a really good storyline. And I was like, okay, like, sure, I'll give it a try. And then like that was pretty much what kickstarted it. I mean, it started a little hard because I think like what you were telling me, it like starts basing on the idea that you watched the original Full Metal, so you like know kind of what their powers are. So I was like kind of watching the first couple episodes, you're like, the hell is going on? Like right in the middle of the action, did I miss something? Like what the F is happening? And then it was like, oh, like, okay, this is cool. And then it just kept building. And then the story just got incredible. And all of a sudden I'm watching like every day on my day off. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I'm crushing 10 episodes on a Saturday. Like I could go do something.
It's a good story. And I'm glad that your friends started you on Brotherhood because as people know, they readapted the story to follow the manga way better than the original did, because the original just did not go through the original
that's what they were telling
the first one, I guess, not the original, but the first adaptation. Yeah,
because that's what they were telling me. They were like, because I was looking, I'm like, do I watch this one or Brotherhood? Like this one's older, and they're like, no, Brotherhood, like do that.
Yeah, Brotherhood,
do that.
That's good.
So yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I loved it. That's pretty much what kickstarted me into getting into anime.
Nice. And it's funny that you said you and your friends like had a debate, because Marco and I had had a similar debate about another coworker where we were like, all right, if we were to try to recommend something to her, what would it be? And it's a little different, obviously, because
Everyone has different tastes too.
different tastes. Like, do we start someone off on like just something action packed, or do we start them off on something that's a little more like romance themed, or like something that's just pure comedy? I think at the end of the day, the one we recommended to another fellow coworker was a romance comedy hybrid.
It's called Kaguya.
Yeah.
Kaguya-sama.
Yeah, like Love is War.
Love is War.
Cool.
It's good. I mean,
she still hasn't watched it, by the way.
Yeah. So, like, we're giving it a try. We're calling you out, Linda. So, like.
Any day now.
Hey, eventually it'll happen, okay? Come on. Rome wasn't built in a day. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, it's good that you decided to actually take the leap, because sometimes I feel it's hard to get people to do that. But, even with things like, shows like Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
You kind of get intimidated by your own preconceptions of the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Like you might think, oh, this is too long. Maybe I don't like the subject matter, shit like that.
Yeah.
So my next question would be going in, did you have any preconceptions about anime that you were kind of just because I know you went into it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean, to me, some of my preconceptions were definitely the, weird themes. I think the stuff that makes it on Twitter a lot and public is very weird scenes, with a lot of weird animation and weird motions, which is part of it. But to me, that's all I saw beforehand. So I'm just what the hell's going on? All these people dancing really weird or weird smiley faces and stuff. And it's the hell is it? Why would anyone, they're having the weirdest reactions to stuff. And obviously weird, weirder creatures that is not normal for American animations and stuff. So that was another thing that kind of, I guess, was scary to me. And I guess the biggest preconception to me was just that it's in Japanese. Because to me, I've never really watched anything with subtitles in my life, really.
Okay.
It's never really been anything I've pursued. So I think that was another big thing. It's how do you pay attention to both? You have to read the subtitles and see what they're doing. That seems so stupid to me. And
there's a lot of memes about that.
Yeah. So that's that was probably the biggest preconception to me was just how the hell am I going to watch this in Japanese? This Japanese show is just yelling at me, and it's how does this work?
The other thing for me in general to start anything, just going back a little bit here, is the time commitment to anything.
Oh yeah.
Whenever someone recommends me something, it's Naruto or Bleach, I'm yeah, I'm sure it's good, but I'm not gonna watch it because it's just too many episodes.
Yeah.
And I've done that before where it's so many episodes, and I think I had enough of that.
I think that's was other part of their debate between my friends when they were figuring it out, was they were okay, we need to give them something that's watchable, that I can see an end in sight kind of thing, because it's Naruto's bajillion episodes, and Dragon Ball's got a ton, and all these big ones have that are very popular, but it's is that what you want to start someone on? To me, no. I'm glad that I started on something shorter, because I could see a conceivable end, and
how many was it? 50, 67?
57 or something, 45. It's something 40s, 50s, if I remember correctly. So it felt definitely more doable. You're 50, 20-minute episodes. I've watched plenty of shows that are 30-hour-long episodes. So it's to me, it's I watched Game of Thrones. That's 30, 40-hour-long episodes, and I did that in a semester of college. So
yeah,
that's true. That's I'm okay, I can definitely do 20-minute episodes. Right. So I think that was a big thing that actually helped me get started. Watching it too was just knowing okay, this is doable. There is an end, and okay, I'm actually working my way through seasons, working my way through arcs, and not being holy crap, is there an end? Will this end?
Yeah.
And that's I think that was another deterrent for me, was ones that didn't have an end yet, because I want to binge them and see a a
That's good.
But it's
yeah.
There's so many of them where they're oh, there's no end yet. And it's One Piece is 900 episodes, and you're how they haven't reached any conclusion.
Yeah,
how the hell is that possible? So that's another big thing, is I wanted a full storyline to start, so I wasn't left hanging on anything.
Yeah. No, even now, I look for animes who have already ended, because either one, they changed the storyline and they're going to another one that they had to make up during the adaptation, or they just ended and then there's no continuation to the final story.
Yeah, like to the final.
And I'm like, what the hell? So it's just like, I always get upset about that. So I'm like, always like do my research before starting anything. Does this end? And if it does, then I'll get into it. Yeah.
Well, that was my friend's one big one they want to recommend. It was Attack on Titan, and then I saw that. I like want to watch it because I've like seen the storyline on Wikipedia and stuff, and I was looking at some of them. But then I was like,
it's so good.
The fourth season is coming out like now, and I'm like, okay, like I'll wait because that's supposedly the final season. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me wait till that's like officially out.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is binge something and then be like, crap, I gotta wait like another to get like the end.
Because I got into the manga.
Oh my goodness.
And right now, like I restarted the thing and I read the whole thing in like 5 days maybe.
Jeez.
It's like 100 and something chapters.
Yeah.
And like I just read the whole thing, and then you have to wait month to month until the chapter gets published. And
yeah.
It's like
you're just like let me know what's gonna happen next.
But
like,
even right now it's like super lit. Like I was like,
that's what my friends love it. That's like one of their favorite ones. So I'm like excited to start it, but I want to wait till there's like a pretty much conclusion.
No, yeah.
And that's helped me get
that's
through
reasonable.
It.
Yeah.
I think that's like the one frustrating thing about being into anime and manga is like if you want to be up to date, then you end up with that constant frustration of just like, oh god, I want to know what happened. Like in the same vein, Demon Slayer, like
oh my god,
like I don't know if you've heard of it, but Demon Slayer was a super popular anime like last season, like in the early 2020. And so most people who read the anime decide to move on to the manga, and then like only to be disappointed because they're just like, it's not over.
Yeah, like there's no insight. Like what the heck?
But now you've spoiled yourself, and now you can't wait for because I think there's a movie coming out and then another season. And who knows when those will be out, especially with the whole COVID-19 thing.
Oh yeah,
but that really only adds up to the hype for some people.
Yeah.
Oh no. Whereas for others, they're just like, I mean, it's bound to happen, but sometimes if you can't keep your audience's interest, they kind of just like forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think I would get distracted by other things in my life, and that's like been a big thing for me, especially something that's like not like publicized here really on like mainstream channels. It's like I wouldn't know if I didn't Google that Attack on Titan wasn't done and that the season 4 is coming out like pretty much right around now.
Yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't have known that, so I didn't want to watch 3 seasons, completely forget, and like start new ones, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, the end is done. Like, oh my god, like how did I miss this? Like all my friends talk about it. I'm like, damn it, what the hell?
Actually, if I remember right, there are websites where you can keep track of the anime that you've watched.
Oh, really?
And like their status. So I think it's like My Anime List. I use it strictly only for tracking. If you read reviews on that, it's just you're gonna have your brain melt.
Oh my god, yeah.
Some people are just. I mean, I respect the passion, but the degree that some of these reviews, like the kind of detail.
Yeah,
they're so detailed.
This is like I feel like you're nitpicking right now.
Like at the littlest things. And just relax.
It's like I've seen some reviews where like, I give this anime like a 2 out of 10, and I'm just like, okay, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I hate it when they do this. Oh, this is just like this anime from like 1957.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. They use the same blah blah. I'm like, what the heck? You're like,
stop! Like, get a grip. Like, first of all, you watched that. Why? Like, why'd you take the time to watch that? It's like hand drawn in like terrible computer age. Just like stop. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
It's like, and then you'll see at the end, I can't believe I wasted like a whole day of my life watching this entire thing. I wish I would have rather drink bleach than watch this.
Oh my
like,
god.
All right, okay.
All right. Is it that serious? Like, don't tell me it was that bad.
but all things being said, if you're really trying to keep track of what you've watched, like there are websites like that.
Yeah, which I think I need to start doing now that I'm getting more into like more series and stuff.
Right.
Trying to figure it out.
Especially if you start like watching multiple series at once.
Yeah.
Have you started doing that?
I haven't yet. I'm trying to avoid it as much as I can because I think I'll get distracted by both. I'm trying to work my way through one and then work my way into the next one, which depending on the length of some of them makes it harder than others because I feel like I'm watching one for months on end. But like right now I'm watching Death Note and it's like really quick, and it's like, okay, awesome. Like I'm already like 11 episodes in.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Love it. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
So that's where I'm like, okay, this is awesome, and it's like that's easier to like keep track of versus before that I watched Hunter x Hunter, and it's 148 episodes, and it's like, holy crap, I dedicated
Yeah.
hundreds of hours of my life to watching this. That's like an epic proportion. Like we did the math at work, and it's like tons of hours. It's like almost 2 days or something.
Right, like 30 hours or something.
Yeah, it's like a ridiculous amount of TV time that I've spent watching one series. So it's like, Jesus Christ. Like
it's like when you it's just crazy because you see 148 episodes, but then you actually kind of math out the time and you realize that, oh, I've spent more time on like one game before than like a whole season of anime. But it's like, but it doesn't. I feel like when you watch an entire season of anime, somehow you don't feel like shit afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, like whereas if you spend 50 hours on like Call of Duty or something, you're like, I'm just as angry now as I was before I started.
I literally feel less productive.
Right, exactly. Like you just wasted time essentially.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you watched Hunter x Hunter and Full Metal.
Yeah.
And Death Note. Have you watched anything else, or is that what you've seen so far?
That's it so far, just because I think it took me like 3 months and change to watch Hunter x Hunter, so that like I think I also underestimated how long Hunter x Hunter was, because my friend who is the one who finally convinced me to watch Full Metal, he told me next I should watch Hunter x Hunter, so I was like, okay, sure, there's 3 seasons on Netflix, it seems like similar amount of episodes. It was like there's like 70 of them on Netflix, so I was like, okay, I'm like, this doesn't feel done. He's like, oh no, there's another 80 episodes. I'll give you my Crunchyroll like account, get on it. And I'm like, you asked. Why do you not tell me that this is 150 episodes?
Oh my god.
Like, I like wish you had told me, because it's like now I'm in too deep, because I'm doing like the 3 first arcs. And
I have to commit.
Yeah.
And of course, like the next arc is literally 70 episodes about the Chimera Ants, and I'm like, the hell? Like it's almost as long as the first 3 arcs combined. Like what the hell is going on? So like that was, I think, what caused me to not watch as many as I wanted to, just because it was like, okay, I watched Full Metal, which was like 50, easier to do, and then it's like, oh, I'm through Hunter x Hunter. Psych! Joke's on you, you idiot. Like, no, you're not. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Like, great, just gotta keep watching this. So now that I'm in Death Note, I'm gonna probably, especially with our work schedule, I've been watching it a ton on my off days. So I think I'll be through that pretty quickly. And then I'm on debate of what to watch next. That's kind of my...
So which one do you like more? Like Full Metal or Hunter x Hunter?
Oh, God, that's such a hard question.
Oh, okay. So you like that. Okay.
No, I liked both of them a lot. To me, God, that is a hard-ass question. I probably liked Full Metal more, just because... I mean, Hunter x Hunter, like, they tried to wrap it up just because they don't know when more manga's coming out, is what I've been told. So it's, like, not technically done, but, like, the artist who does it, like, the studio's pressuring too much, so he just said, screw you, I'm going on hiatus. That's what I read.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a giant meme that he goes on hiatus. He, like, does one chapter, like, a year or something.
Yeah, which is, like, insane.
Holy crap.
So they're doing, like, no more anime, so, like, they try to wrap it up as best they can, because they knew this isn't coming back for a while. Like, we've gotten through all that he wrote, and he's taking his sweet time with the rest of it. So I think like Full Metal, like, since there was like a complete ending, and like it, to me it was epic. I loved the ending.
No, yeah,
that. Like,
it's really good. It's a really good story.
That made it more interesting to me, and like I think made it more. I felt more satisfied at the end. Like Hunter x Hunter, I was satisfied, but I was also like, I feel like there's so much more that happen right now. Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell's going on?
It's like there's more to be had. But it's not.
But it's not there yet. Like I'm like debating, do I buy mangas? I've never done that before, but I can see there's more out there for past this point. So like, what in the world? Do I do that?
That's really fair. And also, do you know that also on my anime list, I think right now still it is #1 ranked of all time.
Oh, Full Metal.
Full Metal.
Yeah. And that's what I've been looking up, like lists of like animes to like try and debate what to watch next, because I think that's like I want to watch like the really, really good ones that are like really popular first, just because I'm like, I know I'm getting a good storyline that I'll most likely like and like get into. So like I think that's been a big part for me of like trying to decide the next one, is like using my friends' recommendations, but also like referencing those, because it's like I have friends who've watched a ton of anime, like watches it all the time, and he's recommending what's it, Tokyo Ghoul.
Tokyo Ghoul is good.
Blue Exorcist is another one. Those are his two favorite. But I like see they're not like extremely like highly ranked or like, you know, in comparison to some of these other ones. So I'm like, I want to get through like the bulk, big mainstream ones before I start branching into these like smaller but still good animes. Like obviously my friend's watched a ton and they're like, Tokyo Ghoul is my favorite by far. Watch that right now. And I'm like, I'll get to it.
The only thing I want to say about Tokyo Ghoul, it is one of those that changes the storyline.
Okay.
Because I was kind of mad when I read the manga and I'm like, wait, this didn't happen in the anime. Why do you read? Yeah. So just a warning about that. But it is really, really good.
Yeah. That's what I mean. As of now, I'm probably not going to read the manga, so like I wouldn't notice. But it's like, for like people who are like will read the manga, that's gotta like hurt. Like I feel like when you're like, what the F? It's like Game of Thrones when they like completely botched the last season. And it's like the books are going to be so different from it, and everyone's like, why didn't they do this? Like why in the world? Like and they follow this storyline. It's so much better like thing. So.
Well, on this regard, like, do you see yourself like reading manga
I think I could see myself eventually doing it. My friend who's Tokyo Ghoul, he offered me, he has the Death Note manga. Like,
holy shit.
So he was like, if you want to read that, like after you're done with it, like let me know. So I'm like debating it, you know, I don't do a ton of reading to be honest, which is probably not great. So
well, manga is super easy. It's
it's like a comic book, mostly. So it's like, to me, like that would make it easier, I think, to do. And I think it'd be kind of interesting to read a manga of something I've already watched because I can kind of put like a voice to the character.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's another hard thing to me is like, I don't want to like read them and then watch like an anime with it. And then it's like, that's not at all how I that's what I like. In the middle of Full Metal, I switched. Somehow Netflix switched me from sub to dubbed.
What?
In the middle of it, because you could choose either one, and it like the English voices. I was like, I need to change this. Like, I can't watch this. This is not like what they sound like. Like this is not what they sound like to me. Like, I imagine the like they didn't match at all, like personality wise, with what I had like associated them. So I don't want to like do that with reading a manga and then be like, crap, like this is not how I imagine this character sounding or acting. Like,
it's interesting you say that because I actually watched all of Full Metal Alchemist with the dub.
What?
Yeah. So, but this was back in my amateur days, okay?
Amateur days.
Like
I'm 6 months in. I didn't do that.
Back in my middle school days.
Okay.
So I wasn't aware of like any of this stuff. I was just like, oh, I hear this is good, so I'll just watch it. So to me, the dub is like the comfortable. It's weird. The dub is the comfortable version of Full Metal to me. But then everything else I've ever watched, I've watched subbed. And like, so if I hear the dub, I'm like, please turn this off. My brain cannot.
And I think you're right. Like, I'm gonna cut him some slack because for me, like starting first days of anime of all time was Pokemon, Digimon, Cardcaptor Sakura, all those. And listening to them later on in life in Japanese, then it sounded weird. I'm like, what the hell? But you know, I kind of rewired to the fact that was the original language.
And that's what like my roommate watched Death Note himself. Like that's the only anime he's watched, and I've been trying to get him to start other ones. But his biggest complaint is like, I know I'm supposed to watch it in sub, but like I don't have the attention span half the time to like watch it in sub. So it's like, do I find the English version and stuff? And I'm like, no, watch it with subtitles. And he's like, that's been his like biggest deterrent to starting another one. Is he's like, I want to like check my phone during a show, and I don't want to miss plot points or anything. Like,
right.
Because you do kind of have to like shut off other technology when you do it. At least for me, starting out, because it's like, I don't want to miss anything important. Knowing me, I will somehow miss like the most important plot point of the whole episode if I check my phone once. I just feel like I got bad luck. So.
Especially Death Note that has like very little like moments. Yeah,
and that's what that one especially. I've been like putting away everything because I'm like realizing the dude's like, as of now, like I'm so early in it, he's like starting to trick people into being like, oh, I'm such a good person. And then like I love the moments where he like murks them. And he's like, I'm Kira. Like, I'm like, and this dude's just dropping in the middle of train stations. He's like, I'm Kira. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, that's awesome.
Like, just going full galaxy brain on these people.
Like I'm loving the mind that people go through as they then get like sentenced to their like death. And I'm like, damn, that is awesome. Like, that's like why I keep watching. Like, oh my God, this dude is just murking people.
If you like that kind of stuff, like someone brain flexing on people.
Yeah.
Code Geass is another one.
Okay.
Did you watch that?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh my god, that one was always
Classic.
like, what? You did
well,
that to him? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Like that is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that one is also really, really good.
Oh,
And it's
sure.
like super popular as well.
That's what I keep adding to my list. It's like I know my list is like 10 long of like the next one's to start.
Yeah,
I'm just
I know.
like crap. Like we gotta figure out the next
Like
one after
one
this.
day you pull up your phone, just like.
That's what I've been trying to like save ones that my friends recommend, and I'm just like, crap. Now I'm like 9 deep on here. Do I start multiple ones? Can I? Like, do I feel comfortable? No.
kind of like
So.
switching gears, like.
Yeah, that's been my other like thing I'm happy I didn't do too like to start, because I feel like especially going from Hunter x Hunter to Death Note are so different that I would be like, I would get lost. I think like I would mess up watching and like forget details of like Death Note versus Hunter x Hunter and be like, oh wait, when did that happen? Like when the hell has this happened? Like, so I'm happy for now I'm like starting with one because it's easier to follow, at least for me
No, yeah.
so far.
Well, of the ones that you've watched so far, which do you think you'd recommend to someone who's starting out, just like you?
I think for me, I think Full Metal based on my personality, but that was just because I grew up loving Avatar and like the fire bending, water bending, like mystical use of humans, and that's a huge part with the transmutation circles in that. So like it wasn't that weird to me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like that's like it didn't seem that weird to watch at first. Like I felt very comfortable watching it, and like to me I love the action of it and like the fights and stuff. Like that's a big thing for me. Like that I've liked a lot when I'm so far with animes. So that's like the weird switch up with Death Note so far is it's not a lot of that versus Hunter x Hunter and Full Metal were like lock battles and beating the crap out of each other. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. That person is that power. What the hell?
Yeah.
So like that, I think I recommend. But I do agree with like what you guys said earlier, how like it depends on the person. Like I think as I got into it more, I would like debate it more. Like obviously, like recommending to our other coworker, like a different one that's more like romance comedy level, kind of thing. That's you kind of have to nitpick their style and like figure out what they want to watch and like why.
Either that or brute force it, and then like
you have to fucking watch it.
Yeah, you have to fucking watch it. And the next thing you know, they're like I like the part where they just smashed their face in.
That's what my like friend like literally like forced me to watch Hunter x Hunter next because I was like debating it, but I was like, oh, like maybe do I watch like Naruto or something more like mainstreamy? And he was like, no, you're watching Hunter x Hunter, do this. And all of a sudden by like the 15th episode, I'm like, dude, what the hell is happening in this Hunter exam right now? Like this dude just walked through this man and stole his heart. What the hell is like Killjoy's just walking through people. I'm like, what the? And he's like, I told you. And he's just like, I told you so. But he like literally was like, no, watch that next. And like that's what I think you also have to force people. That's what we're trying to force our other friend to start watching something too. And it's like we text him in our group chats and we're like, so Rob, how's this going? He's like, I haven't started yet. It's like, what are you doing? Like, do it. Just you've got nothing to do. You're like you're a teacher who is online teaching for 2 hours a day. Like you have time to like you could definitely watch it. You rewatch every Marvel movie, and which is cool. But like you have time. Like you could definitely take time to watch at least one and give it a try.
Yeah. At some point, we should like go down to your place, tie him down to a chair.
Just take him watch it.
Wait.
Like do the thing where you clamp their eyes open. Like people watch this
just like Clockwork Orange. Yeah, like they're just like strapped into the chair, just staring down the thing.
Oh my god.
And it's just like, and by the end of it, he's like, I have severe mental damage.
I don't feel okay. Like I don't know what I like anymore. What is up? It's like you don't look great, but you watched it all.
Oh my god. Is there anything so far that you find like, oh, I don't like this certain aspect about anime? Is there something that you have nitpicked about of it that
certain aspect? I'm trying to think. There were definitely like I don't know. There's some of the mannerisms I'm still getting like used to, I think, that are just not common in like American like animations and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's definitely like just like the weird reactions things that they have to things. Like I'm like, what the hell?
Exaggerated.
Like there's some like freaking out, like it like changes animation style. I'm like, okay, like why the hell did you do that right there?
That's
okay,
true.
and like some of the characters like there's some weird parts where they're like, I don't know. There's one character in Hunter x Hunter who Hisoka who is literally like orgasming at the idea of killing people. And he's like the way he talks about killing people, he's like, I'm like, you're like getting your rocks off right now. Like, this is strange. Like, I can't kill you yet. It's not the release I need. And I'm like, the hell is going on? This dude like got like literally like kill drunk on an island and like walked around with a dazed face till he found a soul to kill. And I'm just like, what is this happening? Like, why is this like? So I think that's like, there's definitely some weird personality characters.
Like they're very exaggerated personality.
Yeah, very exaggerated certain characters. So like, that's been kind of weird to me. But that's just because like, I think that's more common in that style. And it's,
I think that just comes with it.
Yeah, it's like something I just have to accept. Yeah, like that it's going to be more common. And I think I got more used to it as it went on. But like, definitely the first like few times we saw him, I was like, dude, you are a freak. What in the world? Like, this dude is strange as hell. I don't want this. Like, so I think that was like definitely the part that like really nitpicked me so far the most was just like, I don't like, it's not common to me now, so it feels really weird. These like animated styles and the way these characters are talking and acting as they go along.
Well, I guess for us, is there something that you don't like about anime in general?
At this point, you know, I've watched so much to the point where I've become just so desensitized. But there are certain things that will like annoy me, like just random like perverted moments. It's just like it's just like, okay, where did this come from?
Like this is unnecessary.
Or like just obviously, and one of the big things that like turns people off anime are like the proportions on the girls.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that can be a little weird to me too. There's some characters where you're like, why did you do this? Like
how do they have like the hourglass body with like gigantic boobs, and they're just like,
and then they're a mechanic, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, no, it's another thing. Like,
it's like, oh, it just so happens that the main character trips, falls right into their chest, and I'm just like,
I haven't had one of those yet, and I'm like, thank the Lord, because you've told me about that. I'm just like, that's strange as hell.
I feel you have to. It depends on like the kind of anime you watch, though. Like, I know Full Metal has some, like not a lot. Like I think it was just more like just like walking in on people. Yeah. Like, but like there are just some versions like the whole, like I'm gonna call Marco out here a little bit, but he used to tell me that his favorite genre of anime was the harem.
Oh, the harem, yeah.
All the harem, like all the harem animes, you know, where it's like you have the main character, the clueless main character who's like surrounded by all these like attractive women, and he's just like,
oh, I don't think they like me, and it's like, oh my god,
but everyone just wants his dick.
You're like, what?
And they just get into all these like freaky situations, like walks into them in the bath or something. It's just like,
it's always like very like impossible scenarios, and you're just like, all right.
Did I somehow get on Hentai Haven? Or exactly. I feel like this is the start to a porn. Like, what in the world is going on?
That could probably be like a game show in some ways. Like, is this hentai
or is this an anime episode?
Exactly.
That'll be at a con before you know it. That'll be having people doing a Jeopardy show.
Hey, that's a good fan of actually.
The late night panel. Is this hentai?
Or is this just a very perverted anime?
Yeah.
You will have some people come out of the woodwork who will have way too much knowledge and be like, no, that is anime.
Let me tell you something. They had a game show at the last con we went to. It was like, guess that anime like titties or something, and it's just like, it was like some panel where it was like all they did was show a picture of like someone's boobs, and you're supposed to guess what character that is and what anime it is. And I have no doubt, not a single doubt in my mind, that there are people out in the world who actually know all this.
Oh no, who probably scored 100%. What the F is wrong with you? Why do you know like that's not what I'm focusing on when I watch it. It's like, I'm sorry, like it's not like.
I guess like you said, at some point it comes desensitized, and then it's just like, all right, that's just normal at this point.
I think that's like, I'm starting to get to that point, like especially like, the things I did have issues with early on in Hunter x Hunter, I didn't have issues with at the end. Like nothing bothered me at the end of it, and it's like, okay, it's cool. This is like relatively normal now. Like everything that's happening.
I would actually recommend a video to you. I think it's called Life Cycle of a Weeb or something. And basically, it's like this one YouTuber who kind of talks about like, you know, like all the different like steps of being a weeb. Like, you know, right now you're starting out, and then like you said, like, and you get to a point where you're desensitized, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh man, I see the same shit and all the same anime all the time. And then at a certain point you're like, actually I actually don't care. I'm just gonna enjoy it for what it is. and like rinse and repeat every time.
Yeah.
You know? And then I mean, it's kind of true, like, because for the longest time when I first started out, you know, I was just so happy to discover random things, random animes.
Yeah.
Just like I was just watching without a care of the content, and I started like kind of the curating more. And I'm just like, all right, I'm only gonna watch this, and this, things that fit my standard.
What I believe is good anime.
Yeah, it's like what is peak anime? and then I went through a time where I was like, I'm not gonna watch any anime because like it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
And then like I think after I graduated school, I was like, why do I care so much?
Yeah, like why was I that? Why was being a purist? Like,
like who gives a shit? It's all entertainment, you know.
Yeah, I feel that's the phase I'm going through right now because I haven't started anything in like ever since the year started probably.
Jeez.
I haven't really started anything and yeah, I know it sucks.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the person that needs to be strapped down is you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm watching Haunting on Hill House right now, which is not anime, but it's really good.
Excuse me, sir, but we cannot talk about non-anime.
Non-anime stuff.
We already made purist anime podcast. You know, we're on the top anime podcast.
We'll just do view bots until like we get to the top of the Spotify chart.
Start farming.
Yeah, just like pay people for views.
No, but don't get me wrong though. Like I have like literally like maybe a list of like 20 of them that I need to list.
Yeah, you like need to start.
Yeah, it's every time I never start it and I'm like, which one should I start? Blah blah. But every time I start any of them, it's like, wow, I'm so glad I started.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And that's what like I've been taking like easily like 2 or 3 week breaks between each one that I've watched, just because I feel like I'm like, okay, I just completed through this, especially Hunter x Hunter. I took easily 3 weeks off of that because I was just
good. You're pacing yourself.
No, I was like, yeah, like I'm like almost drained of like watching anime right now, and I need to like watch other things to like get back to like wanting to watch it. And I'm like glad I'm doing that because it like refreshes me. Because I think like
that's
you
good.
said, like you just get to like once you start watching it all the time, it's like it all kind of blends together, and you're like, I'm not really appreciating this for like what it is. Like that each one is different and like each one is unique. But it's like I think if I was just watching them over and over, I'd be like, okay, I don't even remember what happened.
Wow, that's well put. Yeah,
just blend it all together.
Yeah, just all blends together in my mind, and I'm like, okay, all I saw was a bunch of octopus and. Yeah, kidding.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, I guess my next question is, if you were to try to explain anime to someone, like how would you go about doing so? You know, someone who's never watched it.
It's funny because I've done that with my roommate. My other roommate hasn't watched any. He's watched no anime, and he trying to explain it to him. It's just like, you know, you kind of have to explain it like you have to like get used to the storyline, like get used to like the idea of like it's very different than like US animation. The biggest thing explaining to him was like how I deal with subtitles. And like, because I think that's huge in especially American culture is like subtitles are stupid. Like, why would I do that? Everything should be in English. But like, I don't know. It also like, who's the director of Parasite, Bong Joon-ho, he said in one of his speeches, like, don't let text at the bottom of the screen like deter you from watching something. Like, other countries are making really good art. You need to like see it. So it's like, wow. I guess like that quote like really stuck with me because I had just started watching anime when it like got posted somewhere. So like to me that's like been ingrained in my like, you know, you shouldn't let that like hold you back from watching something.
Yeah, that's good.
So like trying to explain it to him, I've just been like, you know, like you have to more like guess get a feel of like what the person likes. And that helped me like explain it better to him personally because I think of him as more action packed. He also is a huge fan of the show Supernatural, which is a lot of like demons, heaven and hell stuff. So like I try to explain to him more Full Metal just because it's got a lot of that play on heaven and hell towards the end, especially like the homunculus battles God and everything and like all that.
Yeah, that was like legit.
So like that, like trying to, I think that was the easiest one to explain to him at first because it was just like, okay, it's like these two brothers, you know, they like, they're spirits and they use these circles to conjure things essentially. And like you just kind of work your way through it, like very basic. So that way they're not like overwhelmed. I think that was the other thing is like at a certain points I could tell he was like what the hell's going on? Like, Martin, all of a sudden I'm like, and there's ants, and they're doing like trying to explain Hunter x Hunter to it. Like I explained Hunter x Hunter to him, and then he was like, the hell are you talking about? So there's this group called Shadow Troop, and they're like an evil group, and they're battling them here. But like the one dude has chains, and it's like he's like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? Like, so I think that's like been the easiest. I try to explain it very generally to him of just like, yes, it is Japanese, yes, it is different, but it is really good.
Yeah.
Like there is, and I think that's like, I'm kind of kicking myself now because like, I wish I had started earlier. Like I wish I hadn't had this stereotype against, like I wish because my friends have watched it since high school. Like, and I've known they watched it, but I've always been like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that. That's like their weird guilty pleasure. Like, now it's my weird guilty pleasure. And I'm like, well, it's me. Now like I'm the person doing that.
You know, it's interesting you say that because Marco and I have discussed before whether we think anime is mainstream, and I'm currently of the opinion that it's certainly more popular than it was before, but I wouldn't call it mainstream yet.
I agree with that. I think once I got into it, I realized more people watch anime than I realized, which is cool. I think it is definitely more popular than, I think if you don't watch it, you don't think it's that popular. But once I started, it's amazing the amount of friends I've talked to. It's like, oh, like I've just been watching, like, they're like, especially now in quarantine, everyone's like, what are you watching? And I'm like, oh, like I just finished Hunter x Hunter, and I'm like starting Death Note, and they're like, wait, you watch anime? I'm like, yeah, do you? He's like, oh my God, I have so many friends. Like, all of a sudden they like start freaking out. I'm like, I had no idea. Like, what in the world? And like, I think it is definitely growing bigger. I think like the US is definitely adapting more, at least to like a casual fan like me, like to like that level. I think there's a lot of us. Like, I don't think it's to the level in Japan where there's very dedicated fans, mainstream kind of thing. But I think it has grown more. Like I see it on my Twitter feed, like people I didn't know, like retweeting like videos from different ones, and you're like, the hell? How do you know anything about that? Like, why are you retweeting this random clip from Bleach? Like, what? How do you know this? Like, So I think it's working its way. I think it's still like it's definitely popular, but I think it's still like counterculture-y to like mainstream American, just because it is so different. Like storyline style, animation styles, like. So it hasn't really broken through. Like my mom wouldn't watch it. Like my mom, like that's why I consider mainstream. It's like once like parents start watching it, like my sister watched it, like people that I wouldn't expect ever to watch that kind of thing, like started. Then I would really put it towards like.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because I really consider Avatar now that I've watched anime as an anime, and it's like holy crap, I watched that my whole childhood. That's like one of my favorite shows of all time. Like okay, so like. And it was hugely successful on Cartoon Network or forever. So it's like
you're gonna Nickelodeon. Oh, Nickelodeon. They'd probably make like some purists just like, oh,
I'm sorry. But no, like that was like, it's weird because like that, so many people, it's like one of their favorite shows growing up, and it's like, okay, well, if you like that, watch one of these.
Not too
like,
far.
Like it's really not that far from like a lot of what these are based on.
Do you see yourself branching into other genres, like so to speak? So, for example,
Aaron. I'm kidding.
Only Harold for the next 6 months.
It's like, well, I was joking with Marco the other day, like he's building up his own harem, but
no.
he doesn't discriminate, man or woman.
Oh my God,
it's 2020, okay? But
help.
But like one genre we like in particular is slice of life, which is basically kind of like a day in the lifestyle.
Okay.
Like, so very usually Japanese, like lifestyle focus, like, schoolgirls, like schoolboys, just living like their daily life. And they're usually pretty comedic in nature.
Yeah.
So that's a big favorite. Could you see yourself like watching one of those?
I think so. I think like for now, I'm like really, that's why I'm trying to stick more mainstream, just because I'm trying to figure out what I like about anime before I dive into one. Because my biggest fear right now is like I don't want to dive into one like that's more specific and I don't like it, and then I like deters me from starting another one because I'm like on such a hot streak right now. So I'm like, like, and it's like I think I need to like figure out what I like about certain anime styles and stuff, because like there are differences. Like between what I've watched, I think Death Note is the biggest difference between the first two. Like more being like schoolboy does his thing. I mean, there is this crazy spiritual aspect, but it's not as fighty and stuff that I watched before.
More psychological.
It's more psychological and like mind effy than the other stuff. So I think that's like been my first real genre gap. I also don't know enough of the genres. I think right now too, I really just know animes. Like I know the shows. I don't know the genres behind them.
I think we'll let you, and we'll remind you later. Nichijou is a pretty good slice of life kind of anime to start with.
Okay.
In fact, the
Super
name
funny.
is quite literally translates to daily life.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
Nichijou.
But it's kind of, even though it's called that, it's kind of almost like a parody of the slice of life genre, because it's like every like scene is like, it starts off normally and then some like wild shit happens. So
isn't
Well, that's why it's funny though.
yeah, but that's exactly why it's funny.
Yeah.
So then but the thing is, like you said, one of the things that you had to get used to, which is like kind of like the reaction stuff. There's a lot of that in that show.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
like
that.
just wild, like just like
Absurd.
absurdities. Yeah. So that one might be for now, but we'll let you know when you're ready.
Yeah. And that's what I like. I haven't watched like or heard really about any comedic like animes that are like more comedy based. So like it would be interesting to me to like watch one that's more comedy based, just because I feel like all I know is just battles. Spirit like and all this stuff. So like it is like interesting to me here that there even is like comedic animes, because to me I don't think of anime as like a very comedic genre so far, but that's just because of what I know about it. So it is interesting to like when you hear there is more genres and there is more.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I know. I'm so. I'm sorry to the purists out there, because I'm such a weeb. But but like that's the interesting thing to me is like I'm starting really big, but I'm interested to like eventually like start dropping into genres and like thinking about like, oh, this is kind of interesting, or like, oh, I really like this one. What's similar, kind of thing, and working my way through it as I go along.
So on that note, I think we've talked a lot about your experience so far.
Yeah.
So grateful that you have, been very open about it, and you had actually had a very good conversation. It's like very interesting to hear this from someone who just started it. So on that note, I think we'll wrap it up with one last question. Do you see yourself watching this for a long time, or is this like a phase? Do you think this is like a temporary thing, or?
I see myself watching it for a long time.
Okay.
I think obviously once I get older, it'll be harder to find new ones and stuff. Like once you start with kids and stuff, it's like
once you develop taste.
Yeah. Like, once I get past all the big block mainstream ones, like. But yeah, I do see myself watching it. Like it has really piqued my interest so far, and like it has really kind of grown. Like I've grown more interested in it as I've gone along. So I definitely see myself doing it long term, and I think it also helps that I have a friend group that also likes it, discusses it, because to me that makes it like between you guys, my high school friends, I have college friends that watch it that I've discovered, and it's like that also helps because it's like I can text them and be like, holy crap, this moment like Death Note, and they're like, oh, you have no idea, dude. Like, and I think that helps pique my interest because it's like we've gone back and forth, especially me as new, like different sources on new ones to watch, like encouraging me, like asking like what I'm thinking about, how I was getting like almost daily texts about how I thought Full Metal was going on, and I'm like, dude, it's Thursday, I'm working. Like, no, I didn't watch it. He's like, what? Like, I'm like, no, dude, I don't work from home. I don't get to watch anime all day. But I think it is something that I think between the friend group that I have and just like, I think also the accessibility that it's seeing more now. You're seeing it way more on Netflix, Hulu. Yeah. Like, I didn't realize that it was so many were on all of those. Like, either, I think, because it's just not, they're all smart recognition of what I've watched. Before that, I'd watched no anime. So it's like, never on my feed, but now that I've watched a couple, it's like, holy crap, there's another 50 on Netflix right now. So I think that's also going to help me like stay interested, as I don't have to like find a way to like legally stream it or like really buy a Crunchyroll subscription as of now. I hate myself. 6 months I'll be back on. I've watched 57 million episodes. But like I think that definitely would help me keep it long term, more interested in it. And I've been loving the genre so far.
All right, on that note, thank you, Martin, for coming.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's awesome.
So till next time, but let's all wish Martin, a happy journey on the road of anime.
Degenerate journey.
There's more.
There's way more.
There's a huge rabbit hole you're going down.
No, I'm going down a black hole. Are you kidding me? It's never gonna end.
All right. Thank you, Martin, for being here. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And all right, see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Go.
That's awesome.
Yay!
That was cool.